Right now, I feel like a bird, caged without a key. Everyone comes to stare at me with so much joy and rivalry. They don't know how I feel inside. Through my smiles, I cry. They don't know what they're doing to me, keeping me from flying. That's why I say that I know why the caged bird sings. Only joy comes from song. She's so rare and beautiful to others. Why not just set her free so she can fly, 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 spreading her wings and her song. Let her fly, 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 for the whole world to see. She's like a caged bird. Fly, fly, fly. Oh, just let her fly. Just let her fly. Just let her fly. Spread the wings. Spread the beauty. Thank you.
Has this ever happened to you? You work very hard on a paper for English class and then get a very low grade, like a D or even a D equals, and all because you're the word liverwurst spoiler? Proofreading your peppers is a matter of the utmost impotence. This is a problem that affects manly students. I myself was such a bet spiller once upon a term that my English teacher in my sophomoric year, Mrs. Smith, said I would never get into a good colleague. And that's all I wanted, just to get into a good colleague. Not just anal community colleague, because I wouldn't be happy at anal community colleague. I needed a place that would offer me intellectual stimulation. I really needed to be challenged mensurely. I know this makes me sound like a stereo, but I really wanted to go to an Ivy legal colleague. So I needed to improvement, or gone would be my dream of going to Harvard, jail, or prison, in Prison, New Jersey. So I got myself a spell checker and figured I was on Sleazy Street. But there are several mistakes that a spell checker can't catch. For instance, if you accidentally leave a word out, your spell checker won't put it in you. And God for billing purposes, only you should have serial problems with Tory spelling, your spell checkoff might replace a word with one you had absolutely no intention of using. Because what do you want it to douche? It only does what you tell it to douche. You're the one with the hand on the mouth going clit, clit, clit. It just goes to show you how embargo one careless clit of the mouth can be. Which reminds me of this one time during my junior mint. My teacher read my entire paper on a cell of two titties out loud to all of my assmates. I'm not joking, I'm totally serial. It was the most humidifying experience of my life, being laughed at pubically. So do yourself a favor and follow these two pieces of advice. 1, there is no prostitute for careful editing. And 3, when it comes to proofreading, the red penis your friend. Good.
My dearest lady, I am now sitting at a very pleasant cottage window, overlooking upon a beautiful hilly country, with the view of the sea. The morning is very fine. I do not know how elastic my spirit might be, or pleasures I might have in living here, in breathing and wandering as a stag upon this beautiful coast, if the remembrance of you do not weigh so upon me. Ask yourself, my love, if you're not so very cruel to have so entrammelled me, so destroyed my freedom. Will you confess this in a letter? You must write immediately, and do all you can to console me in it. Make it rich as a draught of poppies to intoxicate me. Write the softest words, and kiss them, that I may at least touch my lips where yours have been. I never knew before what such a love as you had made me feel was. I did not believe in it. My fancy was afraid of it, lest it burn me up. But if you will fully love me, though there may be some fire that we can no longer bear when moistened and bedewed with pleasures. Thank you.
You want to hear about love? Oh, I'll tell you about love. The story, the original love story. My mother's uncle, he was a millionaire. All through high school, he dated this one girl. They were inseparable. And when they graduated, she went off to Carnegie Mellon. So he stays in the hometown, and they begin their long-distance relationship. The plan is, on the third Sunday of every month, he'll train out, spend a week, and train back. They do this for 4 years. 2 months before she's going to graduate, he's got this job, digging graves. And he comes across a steamer trunk containing silver ingots, many, many silver ingots. Now, my mother's uncle, being quite the ingenious chap, buries the trunk again and heads up to the main office where he proceeds to purchase a cemetery plot. Guess which one? So now he owns the plot and all its contents. 2 days later, my mother's uncle is worth $3 million. But inside the steamer trunk, stenciled across the wood, is a curse, a cryptic curse. Great fortune means great loss, it said. The day my mother's uncle is heading out to see the girl, he stops by his accountant's to grab some cash. And he winds up missing his train, so he has to take the next one, which he does, whereupon he sees lights. Or gets there an hour later than his time of arrival, whereupon he sees lights. It seems that while she was standing at the platform waiting that extra hour for my mother's uncle to arrive, she was grabbed by an unknown assailant and dragged into the bushes where she was raped and gutted. The assailant was never apprehended. That's a love story? Yes, and here's why. My mother's uncle rode that train every day for the rest of his life. One day up, the next day back, until the day he died. He donated the fortune he'd acquired to the platform in Pittsburgh to have a well-lit terminal built. The train line let him ride for free after that. That's my love story. Thank you.
I have come here to Cairo to seek a new beginning between the United States and Muslims around the world, one based on mutual interest and mutual respect, one based upon the truth that America and Islam are not exclusive and need not be in competition. Instead, they overlap and share common principles of justice and progress, tolerance, and dignity of all human beings. We have the power to make the world we seek, but only if we have the courage to make a new beginning, keeping in mind what has been written. The Holy Quran tells us, "O mankind, we have created you male and a female. We have made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another." The Talmud tells us, the whole of the Torah is for the purpose of promoting peace. The Holy Bible tells us, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." The people of the world can live together in peace. We know that is God's visions. Now that must be our work here on earth. Thank you, and may God peace be upon you. Thank you very much, and thank you.
So I'm like, okay, this is a date that's not going to end well. That's obvious, and it's not the end of the world. Frankly, I didn't actually think the first guy I went out with would be the one for me or anything like that. I just wanted to go on a date. So I'm okay with the fact that this is pretty damn stupid. And then there's actually a point in the evening where, having completely given up on this guy, I sort of perversely got interested in his story. He starts talking about his ex-girlfriend, and the more he talks about her, the clearer it becomes that he's still kind of in love with her. And the more I listen, the more I realize that this is more or less a first date for him too. He's recently broken up with this woman that he really loved, and he's trying to get back on the horse. I sense that we are fellow travelers, and so I say to him, "Well, as a fellow traveler, why did you break up?" And he tells me this story about how your relationship with someone is like a movie, and that you have to see where the end of the movie is going to go. He couldn't see the end of the movie with this woman, so he had to break up with her. And he looked so sad. Meanwhile, I'm listening to him and trying to understand, so I say, "What do you mean, a movie?" And he goes on about looking for the end of the movie and your life with someone and the relationship and the end of the movie, so I say, looking for the end of the movie, you mean like dying? And he says, no, it's not about dying, it's about the end of the movie. And we go around like this for a while, and finally I say to him, "Is it possible that you broke up with the woman you loved because of some insane metaphor?" And then he got mad, and I don't blame him. I was getting a little too personal. And honestly, I had a moment where I thought, if you're siding with the guy's ex-girlfriend, then it's not a good date. So then it Things kind of went from bad to worse, and by the end of the evening, we were really annoyed with one another. But I let him stick his tongue in my mouth anyways.
But a yard away, gripping a letter in his hand, which I believe was the one I had just sent him. His face was ashen, his voice diffused with emotion. You cannot mean what you have written here. I am sorry, said I brokenly, wiping away the tears which threatened it. Jane, do not do this. Come away with me. And live how? One day at a time? How will we support ourselves? I will find work. I can take orders. And where will we live, my dearest? I asked quietly. In a rented house with rented furniture? I do not need a place to be happy. That is true for you. That is true for me. But for you, it is not easy to go without. Once born to privilege, it is not easy to go without. No, Jane, don't do this. You will come to regret me, and in time you will come to regret your choice. Isabella's fortune can save you all. Think of your family. I know what is to lose a home. I know what is to be penniless. I cannot let you do this. We stood in silence for a long moment, each of us wiping away the tears. We looked deeply into each other's eyes, and then, at the same time, we rushed into each other's arms. Were we never to see each other again, said he. I felt the tears wet against my cheek. I shall see you in my dreams and in my mind. I shall carry you in my heart. I shall carry you every day, every hour. Goodbye, my love, he said. Goodbye, he whispered. I turned and ran, my heart so filled with pain, I could not believe it was still beating.
Someone once told me that to write well, you have to write what you know. And this is what I know. I'm 25 years old, and I've never really kissed a guy. A geek to the core, most of my childhood years were spent doing extra homework I had requested from the teacher. High school was more of the same, and then at 17, it seemed as if my luck was about to change. The cutest guy asked me to the senior prom, but it turned out he invited me as a cruel joke, and I've never fully recovered. Yes, it is embarrassing to share this with the world, but it would be hard to explain what I learned and how I learned it without sharing this humiliating history. I received an assignment, my first as a reporter, to go back to high school and find out about kids today. What I ended up finding was myself, and that high school hasn't changed.
Staring through the world through my rear view, going to God, he can hear you. Watching your heart beating fast because it's time to die. Watch your time getting high, watch your time fly by. People who understand this message, listen here. The world is behind us. Once a person gets understanding of the world and the game of the world and the rules is, the game is no trick no more. The game is worth to be played. So you look at that life behind us. You know what you gotta do, all you gotta do, put your mind to it and do it. It's all about the paper. Money with the world. Staring through the world through my rear view. Go ahead and scream to God, he can hear you. See, watching your heart beating fast because it's time to die.